Hey my friends, welcome back to a new video. Today we'll be talking about how the new earth energy changed you forever. We'll go through certain steps that you may recognize. You most probably will sync with it, you will resonate with it, because it changed me forever. When I've started noticing this is the new energy that I feel, and this is the new way how I'm functioning, how I'm being aware, how I'm being conscious, how I'm observing other things, it changed me forever. It made me feel more at peace with myself, but also to be more aware that actually there's a flow that's happening, and most of the time I just need to surrender. There's no need to control things. There's no need to force things to happen. But let's surrender. Let's have a plan, but let's surrender. Let's see what happens. If I just stay in tune with my intuition and let's see what I need to do in this present moment. So, are you ready for that, my friends? Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's go on with the message. The first thing that changed you forever, if you're resonating with this, for me, I've recognized that as I've started tapping into that inner quietness, and firstly, this concept that is often known as the fifth dimension, it's the concept that explains this awareness that is beyond our intellect. We don't think about it. In fact, if you would think about the non-changing part of you, you're not in it. You're just thinking about it. So the point is that you learn to tap into it with your awareness, where you stop thinking about yourself and you rather experience yourself with your senses without judging yourself. So there's a non-changing part of you, an unchanging pillar of you from which you are actually experiencing life. This first realization is really interesting because as I've started tapping into this part of myself through meditation, through inner quietness, I've recognized that I can go beyond chaos. In third dimension, we may experience a lot of chaos, especially if we don't know how to organize ourselves, how to make an order out of our creative thinking, how to organize our habits, and how to deal with our shadow side. If we don't know how to do that, we may experience a lot of chaos. But as we learn to meditate and tap into this inner quietness, we experience this higher perspective. We could call it a perspective of a higher self, from which we can look onto this chaos and we can learn much faster what to change, what patterns to change, what to heal, where we are repeating same mistakes over and over again, not seeing them as mistakes, but rather as random actions. And we can implement the changes that we feel deep inside that are the most necessary. We recognize how we are reacting, how we are responding, how we are treating others, how we are treating money or success or love or relationships or whatever. From that higher perspective, we observe everything in a completely different light. And therefore, we experience it with much greater clarity. This is a great realization for me because it helped me to change my life the way that every time I'm dealing with something, I don't know what to do, I go into that inner quietness and then I reflect on it. And as I'm reflecting on it, I know exactly what I need to do. So the challenge is then coming back here into my identity and applying these changes, because here this psychological and emotional system is quite complex, and sometimes it just draws us into certain habitual patterns that need to be changed in some way. And those who can't be changed need to be accepted. That is the biggest challenge here. But if we look at it from that higher perspective above chaos, it will be really easy to deal with that, or at least much easier, with greater flow and ease. That is the first observation. The second thing that changed you as you've started tapping into yourself is that you notice that the real success is experienced in serving others, in being of service to others. That's what I've experienced, because in the past I had this vision that success is being financially free, and being successful as an artist, making my work known to many people. And as I've started seeing the growth of all of that, I've recognized that actually the most satisfaction came to me when I've noticed that my work is helping others. And as I've started seeing more of that, I've started to notice what these old ancient spiritual teachings were always talking about: being an example rather than just someone who's giving advices, being an example of what you've learned, and constantly deepening your understanding of what you think to be the truth or what you feel to be the truth. So your acts can be something that gives you a sense of service to others. Whatever you do, you do it with an intention to serve someone, to bring some light to somebody else's day. And it gives you a great sense of goodness, of flourishing. We flourish when we help one another. And I think it's something that is really important that I've learned in my life as I've started tapping into it, because I've recognized, in that state, you are not separated from anyone. So when you come back into your ego, you recognize that separation has a purpose, to learn from one another. That's something we'll be talking later, but it gives you this sense that we are not separated here, or we don't have this illusion of separation to be in fights, but rather to find different perspectives so we can notice meaning of them. Then the third realization that changed you forever, at least it changed me forever, is that duality is the greatest teacher, because different perspectives, as I've mentioned, create a gap in which you can find the truth. So when I have one opinion about something and you have another opinion about it, in old way of thinking, I could fight with you, like, no, this mine is right and yours is wrong. But as I've started tapping into this vastness of myself, I've recognized all opinions are right opinions, but each of us may explain things differently according to our understanding. So it's not about being in fight with one another. It's about recognizing what resonates and where is the truth within that opinion. And the truth is then the fundamental spot what we are searching for. And then that truth needs to be embodied so we recognize if that is actually the truth or it's just another belief or another opinion. And therefore, anything we hear can be something to learn from. Anything we see can be something to learn from, to question it, to reflect on it, to write about it, talk about it, to see what works and what truly resonates. So this is a great lesson for me. The fourth lesson that changed me forever, and that changed you if you've experienced it, is that your focal point creates the main experience of reality. So when I've started focusing more on joy, I've recognized that joy can be experienced in anything. When I'm in conversations, if I really focus on that other person, I'm not thinking about myself anymore in that relationship, and therefore I become a really good listener. And that can be a joyful experience. Doesn't matter what that conversation is about, it becomes a joyful experience. And most of the time we may be in our own minds when we're listening others, like how we will respond, what we'll say back. But if you really focus on that other person, you recognize, well, there's definitely something that needed to be heard. And often, if we give all of our attention from ourselves onto what we are experiencing, we recognize that our experience of it changes. And that is really beautiful, because if we want to experience more abundance in our lives, let's focus on abundance. Let's focus on abundance of ideas that you have. Those ideas don't create immediate abundance in your life, but if you start appreciating them as much as you're appreciating money or material things or whatever, you will treat them same way. And therefore you will grab them, do something with them. You will know that each planted seed takes time, needs time to grow. And if you look like that at any idea, you focus on it, you will recognize that it will start eventually growing into what you want to see. So your focal point creates the main experience of your reality. The fifth realization is that when you tap into this vastness, it teaches you about the real meaning of life, which is connection, learning, and implementation. Through implementation, you grow and you experience a change. That's how it works. So I've recognized that the real meaning of life is completely different than I ever thought. Like, it's not just growth, it's not just getting something, it's not manifestation, it's not success or whatever. It's a sense of connection. Because when we feel connected to things, we value them, we nurture them, we appreciate them, we want to learn from them. So when we feel connected to other people, we don't judge them, we don't complain about them, we don't put them down, because we know they're part of us and we are part of them. So we learn from them, and what we learn we implement so we can grow. And that's what I've experienced as a real meaning of life. When I've started putting it into my life as embodiment of this understanding, I've recognized this is the real meaning for myself. It is for myself, and it changed me forever. So if this resonates with you, I'm happy for that. If not, it's completely fine. The sixth thing that I've learned is that because of all of that, you notice that you have a great power that is uniquely yours based by how you sense it. That makes your life's experience really exciting, right? So I've recognized for myself that the way I sense this life, when I tap into, when I'm meditating and I let go of this ego identity, I experience this quietness. I can't know how other people experience it. I can't know how anyone else experience it, but the way I experience it, I know it's uniquely mine experience. And because of this unique experience, I know that I can also think about everything uniquely to myself, and therefore I can creatively think uniquely to myself, and therefore whatever I will create will be unique because of my own uniqueness. Whatever I will say will be unique because that's how I think. And therefore it becomes really interesting when we tap into that, because we discover our own authentic expression that is firstly an experience which we want to put or transform into the expression. That's where we become really, really creative. So because of everything we've been talking until now, we notice that we have this great power of unique experience of everything. So it reminded me that I don't need to fight with anyone to be right. I actually just need to see how uniquely I think about it, and then find a certain middle point of understanding with others. Rather than fighting, let's show empathy, let's show understanding, let's learn why do you think like that, what is your unique approach of it, and therefore we grow together. And that is really beautiful. The seventh thing that changed me forever is that it all changes the way you think about life. It changed the way I think about life. I know we are all connected. I know we are all an extension of a source, and you kind of become eager to learn from others rather than fighting with their opinions. So we gain this sense of empathy, what we've been talking today a lot. And empathy is a beautiful sensation that connects us. And I think it encourages us to be more vulnerable with one another, so we can open up and have these healing discussions. When we're just projecting our own beliefs onto others, we close ourselves down. We don't need someone who's just, giving us advices without being an example of it. But we love conversations where people actually show us a sign of care, when they question us in empathic and compassionate way, that we feel like that person truly cares what I'm going through. That's what we love the most, and that's what I've learned when I've started tapping into this vastness of higher consciousness, or however we want to call it. Another thing is that I've learned that this energy of connection that is linking all life together is something that we are craving the most. And we can call it love, we can call it bliss, we can call it higher consciousness, or whatever. The point is that that's what we are craving. We are craving this energy of connection that is linking all life together. So if you do a certain meditation, the way that you experience this connection, you recognize that this is life. You're experiencing life moving through you. And as you experience that, something changes within you. It changes forever, because you recognize, well, once again, if I'm connected to everything and everything is connected to me, it means that if I grow, everything grows. It means that if I become more flourishing, everything will flourish. That is a beautiful experience that can be, I think, only understood if we experience it. So don't make it an intellectual idea, but rather try it out. The next thing is that it leads to daily transformation. Every single day we're aiming towards deeper connection. We recognize that the point is that you tap into that changeless you, and you recognize it's not about changing yourself. It's more like becoming more of yourself. And you don't become more of yourself by forcing yourself to be more. That leads to force and more separation and being really hard on yourself and so on, which is nothing wrong with that. I think at certain point at the beginning we need that. We need to push ourselves into change. And we need to push ourselves into being more disciplined if we were lacking discipline. But at some point we recognize, well, there's a changeless part of me, and I just need to figure out through my inner work how to be more of myself and what I truly need, what serves me the most, so I can serve others the most. And I've recognized, well, that part of me requires a sense of deep connection. And when I have a sense of deep connection, I also need clarity. And when I have a sense of clarity, I become really creative. And when I become really creative, I need to express that creativity. And when I'm expressing that creativity, it puts me into a flow state. And when I'm in flow state, I experience a great amount of joy. And when I experience a great amount of joy, I want to share this joy with others. And when I'm sharing this joy with others, I experience great sense of happiness. And when I experience great sense of happiness, my life just becomes more blissful. So when I've started noticing this pattern, I've recognized this is who I am. And if that's who I am, maybe everyone has these certain needs that they need to fulfill. So let's find a way to bring message to people that may encourage them to discover themselves and their own needs as well. And that's why I said that it leads to daily transformation. And the last thing I want to give you that I've noticed in my life, my values changed completely. In the past, I was valuing success and building huge businesses. That's what I thought this is the main thing. So I'm valuing growth to be really big and so on and so on. But now, more than anything, I value the truth. I value empathy, I value understanding, I value creativity. I think it's the language of life. I value listening. I love listening to others, even though it's sometimes a challenge because you want to say something. But I need to remind myself often to just listen. Just listen. Don't be the talker. Just listen. I value joy. I value perseverance. I value not needing to be right. This is a great one. I've started valuing action even more, work even more, because I know that firstly there needs to be an inner experience of clarity and understanding, and then you have to put it into work. Because if you don't, someone else will, maybe something more harmful. And if you know what could be better or what could be healthier, you need to put it into work. And that leads to hard work. And hard work is not work of forcing, it's just work that creates more results, more meaningful results, more results that lead to grow and more results. That is to me a hard work. So I've started valuing more of that because I think this world needs it, this society need that understanding. I've started also valuing alignment more than anything, because I know that when things align, everything clicks and everything moves with flow. When things are not aligning, we need to recognize what to change and what to accept, and for that we need a great amount of mindfulness to recognize what to change and what to accept. And therefore I've started valuing acceptance as well a lot. Those are the values that changed, that were added into my life after I've started experiencing this. So I hope you found great value in today's video, and that many of these things maybe also resonate with you. Let me know in the comment section how you feel about it, how the fifth dimensional consciousness changed you forever. Let me know. And once again, thanks to all of you for supporting my art in our Etsy store. I Draw My Passion. You're all truly appreciated. With that, you're supporting this mission. And thanks to everyone for joining us in our Patreon community. Thank you so much. And till next time, one love.